Radhe, Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Nitai Gaurang Bhagavan Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naisthiki. Param Dharma, the Bhagavad Dharma, in this program is part of this Anushilan of Param Dharma, Bhagavad Dharma. We are studying Sikshastakam prayers, the 8 slokas of essence of all education, all spiritual, or the Siksha or teaching or enlightenment for our human, for the perfection of our human potential. Because potential matters, this human life, although there are millions of 8.4 million species, but this human form of life is so essential because this freedom of free will is critical only for a human being. In all of the species, except the human species, the free will is already settled simply by the instinct, like animals or plants or even devatas. They are all bhoga yonis. Only human species called karma yoni, or the species for modification, for education, for transformation, etc. Only in our life as a human being, we have the capacity, we have the opportunity to utilize this free or unbridled or let loose free will to its absolute use. With that regard, we discussed in the first discussion when we began the topmost perfection of religion. Perfection means what we even for modification or improvement, the system given for the human being in the name of education, vidya, for improving the situations. Because improvement is possible in human form of life through the improvement in our consciousness. Even improvement on the material platform from the mode of ignorance to mode of passion, from mode of passion to mode of goodness. But ultimately, our potential is to transcend from our entanglement within the 3 modes of material nature. Even within the 3 modes of material nature, we may have comparative superiority or higher, so-called higher. But that is not real progress. Our so-called progress within the circle, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartinojuna, is we do appear to be moving from Patal Lok to your Brahma Lok. But if you don't transcend even the Brahma Lok, we are still stuck within in the spiral circulation within this birth, old age, disease, and death. Our progress in the material world is compared to like I come across this wonderful example. You know, we find in Parikrama in Vrindavan, especially in Govardhan Parikrama, like there's like a rope tied to two poles, and on the top of the rope, thick rope, a girl is just walking one leg after another leg, and going from one direction to another. So apparently she has moved from this end to that end. And then what happens when it reaches the that end? It just comes back, turns around like this and that. Apparently moving, making progress, but actually not moving at all. So that is the ultimate education, ultimate. So the satsang, the present satsang or the Bhagavad satsang, which exposes the beauty and the advantage and the benefit and the proposal of Bhagavad Dharma, the perfection of Bhagavad Dharma, it really uh, transfers our existence into the eternally blissful existence. There also, circle is there, but this circle doesn't have the stoppages of birth, old age, disease, and death. It's all Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. The ocean of bliss keeps on increasing at every step. So, what is the topmost perfection of religion? These are two things. This concept should be very clear. Siddhanta baliya chitte nakar alas iha haite krishna lage sudrida manas. When it comes to understanding the siddhanta, the conclusive essence of what we are studying or the endeavor which we are putting in, what we are targeting, that is siddhanta. So our target, the topmost perfection of religion, means potentially. What is that? Love of God. We all know that, correct? The end goal, the prayojan is love of Krishna, pure love of Krishna. So that is the topmost perfection of our human potential, that we attain the love of Krishna in our consciousness. Our natural, spontaneous attraction, incessant attraction for Sri Krishna. That is the topmost perfection of religion, because in human society we do follow some religion, some system, because otherwise, without dharmen hina pashubhi naram, if we don't follow any system whatsoever, we are no better than animals. So we, as human beings, we take tremendous pride that we are not like animals. So when a human being who is supposed to be civilized or following some sort of religion, some discipline, some system, if he acts without any religion or system, any rule, regulations, any norm of good conduct, whatever, he's rebuked as if like an animal. So when a human being is rebuked, why are you acting like an animal? Why are you talking like a dog? Why are you talking like or eating like a hog? What does it mean? It reminds that you are not a hog. You are not a dog, so behave properly. So this topmost perfection of religion is possible by the means of devotion to Lord Sri Krishna. Dharma hai swanusthita hai punsam vishwak sena kathasuya hai. Notpadayed yadi ratim shrama yevahi kevalam. What an amazing definition. In codes, we may be following whatever religion so perfectly, system, but the acid test of whether we are reaching the topmost perfection of following religion is have we developed affinity for the Supreme Lord? If we haven't developed any affinity for the Supreme Lord, affinity for hearing the wonderful, transcendental, most loving pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, then all our endeavor is described as Shrama Eva Hi Keva, such a wastage of time. So that's not a very good thing to find out if somebody exposes us through higher education, through satsang especially. If we come to know that whatever endeavor we have put so far, it has been of no use. So, so if we understand now what would be the perfection, or topmost perfection of religion, then if you follow that process, which will take us to the perfection of, or topmost perfection of religion, then definitely our attraction or the attachment or rati na utpadayed yadi ratim mishramayeva hi kevalam. Correct? So without bhakti, without the performance of pure devotional service, actually bhakti alone is in the, what is the swarupa of bhakti? Bhava, incessant attachment, incessant attraction for the service of the divine Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is described in the scriptures that bhakti bina kono sadhan dite nare phal. Except for bhakti, no other sadhana, no other means, if you utilize to achieve any fruit whatsoever, any fruit, even material progress, material our accession to the heavenly planets, or whatever progress in this world also, without the connection, even apparent, external or secondary connection to bhakti, even. Because primary connection to bhakti is pure love of Godhead. But people do perform bhakti apparently with the ulterior motives, but that is not direct bhakti. That is targeting the secondary effect or benefit of bhakti. So bhakti bina kono sadhan dite nare phal, sarva phala de bhakti. Sarva phala de bhakti, parama prabal. So the bhakti is very powerful. Even its secondary effect, again, secondary benefit can give or make other sadhanas like karma kanda, jnana kanda, ashtanga yoga sadhana, they become fulfilled, they become successful only through some, even some semblance of connection to bhakti. So, because bhakti is very, very powerful, even if somebody comes to know the aspect of bhakti is very powerful. Atayeva buddhiman jana, Atayev Krishna bhaje buddhiman jan. There is an example given कि ajagal stana nyay anya sadhana. Aja means the goat, gala in the neck. Ajagal stana, ajagal stana nyay. Nyay means it's like a verdict, that like a lump of skin hanging from the throat of a goat, if you have seen the goat. Ajagala stana nyaya. Anya sadhana, all the means are compared to the lump of skin hanging from the neck of a goat. Stana means breast. But what is the function of the breast? The milk comes out, correct? But the milk cannot come out from the like a breast, like lump of skin hanging from the neck of a goat. So other means karma kand, gyan kand, ashtanga, all these means are like that. Because other sadhanas on their own, they are useless. They cannot give the desired goal, benefit. That's why the truly intelligent person worships only Krishna exclusively. Akama sarva kamuva moksha kama udaradhi tibrena bhakti yogena yajita purusha param. Even for ulterior motives, a truly intelligent person or truly person with evolved intelligence, surest way to success, even for ulterior motives, is a devotional service only. But that is not the end effect or the highest perfection or benefit from performing devotional service. The devotional service has to be realized in its true essence. That's why the very performance of devotional service brings so much joy, so much bliss that one gives up aspiring for anything else. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagam Jnanam Chetad Ahitukam. One experiences the sweetness of the Krishna's Nam Rupa Guna Lila Dhama Parikar Abharan, relishing the sweetest nature of Krishna, the name of Krishna, the form of Krishna, qualities of Krishna, pastimes of Krishna, absorbing in the transcendental glories of the abode of the Lord, finding fascination about the loving exchange of the associates of the Lord with the Lord, seeing the beauty of all the means and the paraphernalia. So these things are very, very powerful, and when under the proper guidance, that's why in Srimad Bhagavatam, ultimate goal, how we find incessant fascination, attachment, Bhagavati Achalo Bhavo. And the only means, so first step is to come to the exclusive worship of Krishna. Bhakti alone matters. And when bhakti is performed under the guidance, under the subservience of those who have experienced the highest benefit of performing pure devotional service, anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavitam anukulyane krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. So those who are situated on the platform of pure devotional service, highest platform, if we associate and with such a person, then by the effect of that association, by the mercy of such a most blessed person, one becomes infected by that same achala bhava, sentiment, which is manifest in the heart of such a pure devotee. Bhagavati achalo bhav yad bhagavata sangata. This is the effect of satsang or association of a pure devotee. So that is what, so this ultimate, the perfection of Bhagavad culture is that we become imbued or infected by the pure loving sentiments for the Lord, we ourselves become we ourselves become infected with the purest love of Krishna. So that was the effect. But what was discussed as we continue, although we are continuing this discussion, but one thing should be understood. What we haven't accomplished since eternity, it's a very long time. And we are targeting that thing, that pure devotional service. So the odds are very much against us. What are the odds that in this one lifetime, we will achieve something which we haven't, even while having innumerable opportunities. So odds are very much against us. But if we think of the mercy of Mahaprabhu, when I think of my very wretched and fallen and utterly incapacitatedness, I become very much distraught, discouraged, and very, very frustrated. But the moment we remember the mercy of Mahaprabhu and we are connected to that mercy flow, then some hope remains. Hope comes. Although otherwise, very hopeless situation, in spite of utter hopelessness due to circumstances, time, and our mind, intelligence, ego, and all these things, all just ready to, they have exhausted us. They have just put us down, kept us trapped here. And if we can feel, yes, I'm trapped, my Lord. It's like a big body elephant, stuck in the daldal. Daldal is shallow. In America, there's a wetland. Around the lake or the ocean, there's a wetland. You cannot have any construction there because you cannot dig. It just sinks. So our situation is that hopeless. Our sanskara is the weightage of our sanskara is like weightage of a big elephant, heavy elephant, who is stuck in this wetland. Even if it tries, uses all the physical strength or intellectual capacity, maneuvering everything, it cannot pull out itself. Our situation really. That's why, since eternity, if we are stuck here in this realm of three modes of material nature, means it's a big deal. How we come out. So Mahaprabhu's mercy is awaiting all of us. And Mahaprabhu says, I want to pull you out. Are you ready for it? And through satsang, if we find that confidence in the person who has received the mercy of Mahaprabhu, or who has got capable pull, when we gain this confidence, yes, we can be pulled out, then we agree to grab the rope of mercy which is coming our way. We just hold on to it. And the person who is not stuck in the mud or stuck in the wetland, if he pulls out, then we can also come out. So basically, this is the foundation, because unless we find our absolute or confidence in the person who can pull us out on our own, no matter nayam atma pravachanena labhyo na medhaya na bahuna shrutena yame vaishya vinute tena labhyas tasyaisha atma vivranute tanu swami. Through our own endeavor of any sort, physical, mental, intellectual, we will fall short. We have to somehow become the recipient. We have to hanker to become the recipient of the mercy that alone will pull us out. So the person who comes in our life, he's perceived as like goats, and when we when something very wonderful or amazing thing happens in our life, when we are exposed the glory of the spiritual world and the glory of spiritual life, can we imagine? Did we ever imagine this is possible for us? We have been totally lost, and remaining lost. Whatever identity we identify with, it's like a lost identity, and it's just going around and around in the same realm. So when we find that mercy coming through a person, because and we honor that person on the same level as God, because God is still indirect or paroksha for us. And the mercy, education, enlightenment, awakening comes through the instrumentation of a person, and that person is perceived as the most blessed, because that person who caused this awakening, spiritual awakening in our life. Ultimately, that is the concept of Sadguru. Sadguru means one who causes spiritual awakening, which we have been deprived. We remain deprived since eternity. It's a tremendous experience. Means we cannot put to words in gratitude or in appreciation. It is such an amazing thing, that possibility. And that's why this bhakti, which we are discussing through Sikshastakam, Mahaprabhu, in his 8 prayers, covered all aspects, all facets of bhakti, starting from our present ajat rati or conditioned state to the highest, highest level. So we can be very much assured we are definitely on the way to reaching the highest stage, and not just in theoretical information, but in practical realization. Practical realization, awakening. Yes, we are fully ready for it. We can gauge our own readiness of how much we are fascinated by it. So this bhakti is extremely rare, and this rarity is should. So until we have become blessed with the ultimate effect of bhakti, that is becoming, what is ultimate? Ultimate effect of bhakti, that our ultimate aspiration is realized, that we attain the direct service of the divine couple. So, so basically, as we discussed, so this rare bhakti, it arises through the faith, the paramarthic faith. Shraddha is very, 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 very essential. The faith, the Shraddha has to deepen, because if our Shraddha does not reaches its, because Shraddha is connected to our Antakaran. Our Antakaran is comprises our mind. Subtle than the mind is intelligence, more subtle is ego, and further is chitta, our subconscious mind. So they are the 4 categories, because faith is established and grows in our subtle body of Antakaran. And 4 levels are discussed. And the faith, Shraddha, the Kram is described, Adav Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees. Then Bhajana Kriya, then Anartha Nivritti, then Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti. So that stage of Asakti is the most critical thing, because it is the first sprout of Bhava Bhakti, which is real Bhakti. But it is rarely achieved. it's like falling in love with someone. Is it casual thing? Is it casual to fall in love with someone? No. It's a very amazing, unique thing. We cannot just theorize. Okay, if I live like this, if I live this, I will fall in love. Because incessant attraction for something is a very amazing thing, but it's very rare. Same thing with the bhakti. Rupa Goswami gives the example, Yuvati nam yatha yuni yunancha yuvatav yatha. Mano bhi ramate tadvat mano me ramatam tvai. He said, oh my Lord, may I find my absorption, may I feel in my mind, mano me ramatam tvai. May my mind become absorbed in the thought of you, just like young girls. Young girls find very wonderful finding the absorption in a young boy. And young boys find it very, very absorbing to think of a young girl. So this example of this world experience, the main thing is absorption. If similar absorption becomes possible in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is called asakti. See? Because asakti is the person who comes in our life becomes protection. Even if we study books of knowledge, transcendental knowledge, the information is like indirect knowledge, paroksha gyan. But by the mercy of the spiritual master, by the mercy of the Bhagavat Purusha, what we receive is the Vigyan. Vigyan means realized knowledge. Mere information or knowledge of even pure devotional service would not suffice. They are saying, you know, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo. What is essential is that we fall that affinity. So that's why when our faith grows with the inclusion of intelligence, it becomes nishtha. We accept, we find out that certain things are good, certain things are favorable for pure devotional service, which we are supposed to adopt, and certain things are unfavorable for attaining the platform of pure devotional service, we let go. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. This stage. But when our personal insistence, when our ego becomes involved, yes, I want to adopt these things because I want to become a pure devotee. And I must give up these things which are detrimental for attaining the platform of pure devotional service. That is when we put into routine certain favorable things in our life, you know, growing for our life, for adopting wonderful things, devotional engagements in our life. But such engagements can be also in many multiple things. Ruchi. But ultimately, our faith grows when it goes to chitta deep. It means we find our incessant attachment or attraction for something. And that is what is called asakti. Once we develop that incessant attraction for something, then we cannot back out. Especially the spiritual asakti. Spiritual means something to be called spiritual. It has to have three ingredients, correct? It has to be eternal blissful experience. If we find our incessant attraction called asakti for something spiritual, now we cannot back out. So that level of appreciation or attraction for a sublime thing is possible only for something we come across. Indirect or paroksha things, we may study scriptures, we may listen to many things, we can through pravachans and all these things. Have you remembered, if you develop our liking or ruchi into many things, like highlights, if you see many highlights of many games or many sports like this thing, would it not ignite our desire to go live? Correct? We would want to go and see something live. So that is the thing. So how we will experience that live or pratyaksha, who we can experience, who we experience direct out of different aspects of the Lord. Who is Krishna? Bhakti Rasama Sindhu describes Krishna's name is Krishna. Krishna's name, unless we realize that Krishna's name is not different from Krishna, we have not realized. I have not realized that Krishna's name is same as Krishna. So the experience of the name of Krishna is indirect for me. So it Nama Rupa, form of Krishna is still wonderful description. Brahmaji describes Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. But what is my experience? So how much am I pulled towards running after Krishna's form? It is still indirect for me. Nam Rupa Guna qualities, Nam Rupa Guna Leela, last times Dhama. The abode of the Lord is also indirect for us. Parikar heart, they are imbued with the purest loving sentiments. Dham Parikar Abharan, etc. But the pure devotees in disciplic succession, through whom we are connected to the mercy flow of Mahaprabhu. The pure devotees, the Mahatpurush is perceived as an associate of the Lord. That is the level of appreciation or appraisal of a pure devotee. If we do perceive the presence of a pure devotee in our life, our minimum appraisal should be he is an associate of the Lord. So if you, Lord, would it not be non-different? Would it be same as associating with the Supreme Lord? Like finding, if we get the opportunity to associate with Narad Muni, we know the glory of Narad Muni. If I stick with Narad Muni, I will be able to see the Lord face to face. So that kind of, it's a faith only, correct? Krishna's. So it is described that we will experience Krishna's kripa. Krishna's kripa is all pervading, like the sunshine all over. But we are stuck, not in front of the sun, but behind, covered under some shadow or darkness like that. So we will experience Krishna's kripa and rati for him, in accordance to our rati, or attachment to our spiritual master. It is described, that is the essence, that is the principle. Our appraisal our appraisal of the status of the spiritual master will determine as to how much attached we can become to our. So this will our appraisal of the status of the Mahatpurush, of the pure devotee, will determine as to how much attached we can become to him. Therefore, because we perceive him, we deal with him directly. That's why the spiritual master can be perceived in the highest position. There is no bar. Highest means then we conceptually we establish first what is the highest appraisal, who is the highest entity, most honorable, most. That's why we discussed that the spiritual master can be perceived in the highest position, status, nothing beyond that actually. No truth beyond our. So who is that highest, in highest estimation is Srimati Radharani. Radharani is the Paro Tattva, the highest, the essence of the absolute truth. Srimati Radharani. And that's why the most important, the importance of individually, personally for a person, individually, the importance of my spiritual master for me is cannot be or should not be compared or matched with anyone else because it's a very, very subjective thing. So this subjective experience must transpire in our consciousness in order to realize this rati. Because it's like somebody has fallen in love with someone. Now we can hear about it, but does it make me fall in love with? No. I also have to experience personally, subjectively, what a tremendous experience it would be to have fallen in love with someone. So this principle is very, very critical. The importance of the spiritual master for me, it cannot be compared with anyone else because he must be perceived as the most blessed amongst all the sadhus, all the many stalwart pure devotees even. We have met and also those we have not met. To consider him less than anyone would be offensive. Generally, an example is given because why we are trying to make this point repeatedly. Because once the secret of success of this Bhagavad Dharma is understood, we will be able to target it with a tremendous focus. Yes, if that does not happen in my life, then I'm underperforming. And we cannot afford to remain underperforming where the means and the opportunities are made available in this present life. Why must we not focus on the target which will really make the ultimate difference? Like even on material platform, do we not consider or value our own father more than all other fathers? Correct? But as a sadhaka, we can understand that but we must value our spiritual master more than even our own father. Why? Because what our own father, however greatly we have realize, experience love bond and his care and concern for us. What we got from the spiritual master, what we got from him, we got that spiritual awakening. And spiritual awakening, which could not happen in spite of having innumerable different material fathers in different species. So the spiritual masters coming in our life is much more valuable than any father, however greatly rich or endowed with all the means of material happiness, can provide us. So, father, just as father is unique compared to other fathers, in the same way, my spiritual master is very unique for me. You are allowed to perceive someone is greater, but not any less. Correct? Sometimes we describe someone is more merciful, but father of the spiritual master is no less. Like Srila Prabhupada's classic example, he was glorifying his spiritual master, and he would say that my spiritual master is has come, is blessing you. Just like the grandfather is more merciful than the father. So some devotees, thought, oh, Prabhupada is saying the grandfather is more merciful than father. So he told Prabhupada, then I want to follow Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, my grandfather. Because you said that grandfather is more merciful than father. And Prabhupada said, okay, but father is no less, So father is no less. So our individual subjective experience we have with our father. So can we think that father is less merciful than any other person? No. In the same way, the spiritual master is always in a very unique, exclusive perception in our life. So what we discussed basically in last time, the rarity of this pure devotional service. So the question comes, this the glories of this Krishna Nam Sankirtanam, because it is transcendental, and but our bondage in this material realm is so strong. So sometimes one wonders, merely chanting this, or participating in Sankirtan, can it really pull us out of this material entanglement? How is this possible? So in that regard, we discussed the the position, our present position in this material world, correct? The living entity is the marginal potency of the Lord. And basically, how this entanglement, how we perceive our entanglement in this realm of three modes of material nature since eternity. Sometimes one wonders, how I have come here. How have I ended up here? Is it who did it? Is it Lord did it, or by my choice? All this mystery still lingers in the lives of many. But if we follow the Bhagavad vision, what Bhagavatam establishes, not only our nature is a marginal potency and compared to the Lord's nature, you know. Krishna's one thing we must become very clear, that almost all of us have only willingly, only willingly we have chosen since eternity, not to accept Krishna's offer. Krishna manifests himself in this material realm again and again, yada yada hi, in many ways. But one thing is for sure that we have chosen not to accept Krishna's offer to join him in his eternal service in the divine realm. We can safely say that it is not first time this opportunity is made available to us. No, we have been given this offer and very willingly. So far, we have only chosen not to accept that offer. And this thing must be appreciated. Then why then should anyone ever think that he or she left Krishna's eternal service? Sometimes this misunderstanding comes. Oh, we were in the eternal service of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan, and somehow we lost our brain and we dropped out of there. Correct? This funny misunderstanding continues. How can eternal service be given up in the first place? Correct? No possibility. Because it is the eternal, loving, and most obsessive, blissful engagement. As we hear, correct? The life in the spiritual world is so wonderful. Everybody is engrossed with the love of God. If anyone was there ever in eternal, so how can the eternity be broken? Eternity cannot be broken, otherwise it cannot be called eternity. Rather, we have yet to develop a tremendous fascination for that, to be able to hanker for that. So where is the question of living that status, that fortune? It is yet to be earned rather, and attained by the ultimate pure kripa. We have to connect to the purest kripa to first of all get there, rather than thinking that, oh, we dropped out of there and we have to go back. Sometimes sadhakas ask this question. So that's why we describe that our scriptures and the lives of the pure devotees, all these things, they are just like the highlights, like what they call, the movie, big movie. Before the movie, there's just little section of the movie, what it's called, it's highlights, or I'm losing that word. In 2-3 minutes, the essence of the movie is short, so people find it very interesting. Oh, now trailer. So we are exposed to the trailer of the real movie, the spiritual world, and our fascination to become transferred. So the scriptures and the lives of they are like the highlights of the trailer of the Leela, eternal pastime of the Lord. So when we will find our fascination to join the life, the living entity by constitutional position cannot not serve the Supreme Lord, directly or indirectly. So our existence as a conditioned soul, as a part of the marginal energy, even in that position, even in conditioned state, we cannot not serve Krishna. Indirectly, we are forgetful of Krishna. Even then, we are only serving Krishna's cause indirectly. Because in the external manifestation, in Srishti Leela or Sansar Leela, we are playing some role. And in spite of being here, we are again and again given the opportunity. Krishna, out of his appreciation for our participation in his indirect service as a conditioned soul since eternity, becoming sometimes vanaspati as a plant or animal, insects, whatever. We have been playing a role in Krishna's service indirectly. And Krishna says, okay, I think you have been here enough in my indirect service. Now, won't you like to join my direct service? You know? And this opportunity is given again and again, uh, without exhaustion. And Krishna will not exhaust unless all the living entities are transferred or become pure devotees. So we can see that the Srishti Lila, Sansar Lila is also eternal. And Krishna knows that the ratio is very less. Innumerable living entities, only very few make it. Krishna himself says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhai yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvatah. Krishna says, very few make to be. Krishna never say, very few come back to be. They have yet to attain Krishna in the first place, in the direct service, Indirectly, we are engaged. And this is Srishti and Sansar Lila. They necessitate the existence of the conditioned souls, So, why? We are made condition. We are made condition because conditioned soul is the essential ingredient of this Srishti Lila and Sansar Lila of Krishna. Otherwise, do we have the capacity to even become a conditioned soul? This question every sadhaka must ask. We are made condition for the indirect or external service engagement in Srishti Lila or Sansar Lila. Otherwise, do we have the opportunity to become even conditioned soul? So we can say that we owe our existence to Krishna. Correct? We owe our existence to Krishna. Can we appreciate his autocracy? This is the question. Once somebody asked Prabhupada this question. In one point, if everything, Mrityu Sarvaharashchaham, the Mrityu takes away everything. And so this material world, if somebody has any hope to become happy eternally, his hope is hopeless and becomes miserable. So why Krishna created this horrible world? And it's Prabhupada, different times he gave different answers, but one of the times he said, Krishna does anything for his own pleasure. So we can imagine that Krishna has created this drama, through his Swarup Shakti, he has created a spiritual realm eternally. And now Krishna demonstrates the potency of his spiritual world. In this realm, and the conditioned souls are exposed the superiority of Krishna's Yoga Maya. So this is Krishna's play background. The whole material existence is like the playground for enhancing and furthering the enjoyment of Krishna. Can we appreciate that? He has situated since eternity innumerable conditioned souls in the jurisdiction of his external energy. Mahamaya, correct? Conditioned souls are the essential ingredients of the Sansar Lila or Srishti Lila, as we call. Three primary energies of Lord, correct? Internal energy, Swarup Shakti, through which the Nitya Lila is manifest in the spiritual realm. Through the engagement of this external energy, Trigunatmak Shakti, the Srishti Lila is made possible. And through the inclusion of the living entities, marginal living entities, the Sansar Lila is made possible. So three primary energies of Lord and three Leelas are manifest. So condition in this material. So conditioned souls are one of the, or the expansion of Krishna's marginal potency. This simple thing we have to understand. It is not that Krishna creates the opportunity as a reward for the conditioned souls in the human form to join his eternal blissful service experience. They don't become conditioned, dropping out from the spiritual realm, because spiritual realm is eternal. If the eternal something is, if somebody is, someone has a credit of being eternal, that means it doesn't drop out. So we have to understand that we are conditioned souls since eternity, and we have the opportunity to become liberated fully, enjoy in the eternal blissful engagement in Krishna's service. Continuity of all the Leelas of Krishna, and to make more and more new pure devotee. This is Krishna's agenda. If we can appreciate Krishna's agenda, this concept will be so thrilling actually. Okay, wow, Krishna, I have neglected you since eternity. I cannot afford to neglect anymore. And then our attachment for Krishna, wow, Krishna is so merciful. Then that expression of Uddhavji, Naivopayantiya pachitim kavayastabeshe. Brahmayushapi kritam riddha mudha smaranta yontar bahistanu ashubham vidhunvan acharya chaitya vapusha swagatim vyanaktim. When through satsang, when our appreciation for Krishna's favor reaches such a level of gratitude, then we become so enlightened, so amazed. We find our incessant or spontaneous attraction for Krishna's mercy. Somebody has been so merciful to me. Our attraction for Krishna will increase so huge, that we cannot not fall in love with him. So that is when our level of appreciation increases to someone most merciful Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we can become fully ready, all time fully ready for Krishna. And Krishna is waiting for that moment. So continuity of all the Leelas of Krishna to make more and more new pure devotees who will offer new flavors of devotional fervor to Krishna. So good use or proper use of our free will in human form of life, this is critical. No? Whether we make a best use of free will, or we continue undermining or ignoring, does it make any difference to Krishna? This is a question we must ask. If I don't ready myself to become a pure devotee of Krishna, would it make any difference to Krishna? Ask this question, contemplate on this question. Then tremendous enlightenment will come. But if we do make good use of our free will, correct, it would make all the difference for us. Because other species of life, in other species, free will is never critical, for it is already settled or decided. But we have the opportunity in this present human form of life, to make it all the way. In Mahaprabhu's message, in Mahaprabhu's desire, Mahaprabhu's manobhist is inviting all of us. Enough is enough. We have ignored, we have undermined, underperformed, self-sabotaged ourselves since eternity many times. But the Sankirtan is a flow. has come in our life, and let us make the best use of it. So we discuss the 4 aspects of Sankirtan, 7 aspects. So how a conditioned soul, however conditioned we have been since eternity, the Sankirtan connection can definitely make the revolution, necessary revolution in our life. And the question has to be asked, are we ready for it? So out of this 4 aspects, so this benefits, this first sloka is divided into two parts. Sankirtan is the means, and Sankirtan is the end. So the first sitting, we discussed how this Sankirtan means the complete Kirtan. Complete Kirtan, it has different aspects. Complete Kirtan means exclusively glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not dividing that glorification. Krishna alone deserves all the 100% glorification. If we divide, if we take some portion of that glorification for anyone else, then it cannot be called Sankirtan. Secondly, Sankirtan means Samyak Kirtan. With Purna Manoyog, when our mind, externally with our external body, the limbs, we perform, we hear, we speak and all these things. But our Antakaran, if our mind, intelligence, ego, and ultimately the subconscious mind, Chitta, if they all become absorbed or involved in Sankirtan, that would be called Samyak Kirtan. Now then we will be left with no distraction. So Sankirtan means a complete Kirtan, a song in praise of complete whole, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything else is only a partial representation. Anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanabhita. Any ulterior motive, if we carry while doing Sankirtan, other than pleasing the senses of Krishna, that should be the only thought in our mind. So anything else is only a partial representation, therefore defective to a certain extent. Therefore, Krishna alone should be praised. His glory should be chanted, for he is everything. He is the master, the dispenser of both good and bad, the absolute controller of everything. Everything is due to him. The fulfillment of all life is reached in him alone. What kind of force or pull we should feel toward Krishna is compared to like a horse, When somebody is riding the horse, it is bridled. Now imagine if the horse is left loose without any rein. With the rein, you can check his movement. But if let loose, will run freely. So our praise of the Supreme Lord should be totally let loose, unchecked by any mundane purpose. Then we will run straight towards the Supreme Cause, Krishna. That kind of. So that is like becoming fully drowned in the glorification of the Lord. And so when we say Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, Sri Krishna, so Sri stands for Goddess of Fortune. So Goddess of Fortune, who is always accompanied by Krishna. Krishna's internal potency. So Sankirtan includes, so in Sankirtan, Krishna is worshipped along with his internal potency. Or Krishna's potency is included within him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Sri Krishna Sankirtan should thrive throughout the world. Param Vijate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. It should be victorious without any hindrance. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. It should be spontaneous, unchecked, and natural flow. It should be exclusive, independent, without any reservation, And this praise, such praise of Krishna should be congregationally chanted, not limiting its benefit to oneself or few. It should be spread all over the world. So that vibration is beneficial for the whole world. So all the means, like Srila Prabhupada emphasized, book distribution and many means now in social media, so many means to cover the whole world, to spread this message of connection, bringing people, making the connection to Mahaprabhu's mercy flow possible. So very magnanimous, because this chanting with mridang and kartal, it can spread very small distance, but when we spreading the Krishna consciousness, different means are utilized, spreading the message and through message and inviting and all these things. So somehow the great sacrifice and vision of Srila Prabhupada and the mercy of previous acharyas and Mahaprabhu, we are the byproduct. We are the beneficiary of that wonderful arrangement. So that's why somehow or other we have to spread, we have to participate, to pay our due as much as we appreciate our, or uh, we wish to express our gratitude towards those who became instrumental to bring this Krishna consciousness connection in our lives. We should also be always inspired to somehow or other. We may have small capacity or big, doesn't matter, but whatever capacity we have, like example given in Chaitanya Charitamrita is the great birds like eagle, they fly very high skies. Srila Prabhupada and stalwarts, they have reached out so many. They have, but in our capacity, we should also try to reach out as many as possible. So that is the thing. So the four aspects out of seven benefits of Sankirtan, the first four, which are like the means to achieve, how they help. Cheto Darpana Majanam, correct? First, cleansing the mirror of the mind. And we discuss what are the like different stages through which we will pass while chanting the holy name of Krishna. The first stage is that it cleanses the mirror of the mind. If the mirror of the mental system is covered with dust, we cannot see things clearly. Even the closest thing we cannot see. The closest thing to the mirror of the heart is the best thing, The thing closest to anyone is the best thing. Do we know this? The closest to anyone, anything, even to us, is something which is all pervading. So Krishna is all pervading. Krishna's abode is all pervading. So the closest thing to us, or the most precious thing, or most wonderful thing, or the most valuable thing, like there's a saying also, the closest or most precious thing you keep closest to your heart, right? So the most precious thing, most valuable thing is Krishna. He's always closest to the heart, but we have forgotten this and made so much dust is covered over it, come over it, covered with dust. We cannot see things clearly. And scriptural advice cannot be properly reflected there. What are the different kinds of dust covering the mirror of the mind? Can we think of so many impressions of the past sanskaras, our infinite, fleeting, and organized desires, sankalpas, so many unfulfilled desires we have come for so many lives, So all those things are considered dust, and our hearts and minds are covered with layers and layers of this dust. Therefore, we cannot see things properly. They cannot properly reflect in our mind because it is covered with the infinite ordinary desires. Our desires are very ordinary. Although being part and parcel of Krishna, we are extraordinary. How can we not be extraordinary being part and parcel of Krishna? But forgetting that identification, their identity, our thought, our speech, our actions, they have become very ordinary. Why we are called ordinary? Because in identity we are extraordinary, but we have been acting pretty ordinary, not to the standard of our extraordinary identity. Identity is part and parcel of Krishna. So cleansing the mind, bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, sakali, ashant, in that misidentification or acting and thinking ordinarily, we are trapped by these temptations of bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, sakali, ashant, and remain always troubled, lack of peace. So the first effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtan is that cleansing of the mind. The Vedic social system. Now here's the thing. In social system in Varnashram, why we follow Varnashram? To purify our existence, our conditioned life, we have so many impure tendencies, animalistic tendencies. The very first effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtan, cleansing the mind, and the whole process, purpose of following Varnashram dharma has been formed, established for this purpose of, if you discharge, scripture says that if you discharge our social duties perfectly without any attraction for the consequences, yatta pravritti bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam. Then what happens? We achieve purification of our consciousness. Such a big Varnashram, following the Varnashram dharma. So many aspects of it, The whole purpose of following Varnashram dharma to cause purification from the lower modes of material nature and to, at least to come to the platform of Sattva Guna. And then in Sattva Guna, there's a possibility of attaining Satsanga, association of pure devotees is possible in Varnashram. And through the effect of Satsanga, we may come to the platform of pure devotional service. So the whole idea is, that the very first installment of Nam Sankirtan gives us the end result of Varnashram Dharma. Purification of the heart and mind. Then we can understand the Vedic advice properly. But as long as we are trapped only in this sense gratificatory thing, and if there's no way out, that's why Bhagavatam says, Loke vyavaya misha madhya sevam nityahi jantur nahi tatra modana vyavasthitisteshu vivaha yagyai suragrahir asu nivritta ishta. The ultimate purpose of this Vedic Varnashram Dharma is to ultimately free us from this entanglement, this entanglement in misidentification of ourselves, long-rooted misidentification that I'm the enjoyer, I'm the Nayaka, I'm the hero, or I'm the heroine. And in every species of life, in a male body, one thinks I'm a hero. A female body, one thinks that one is a heroine, whether it's a cat or as a fish, as a monkey or human being, or every species, this. So this misidentification trap is so strong, so deep-rooted, but through this Varnashram Dharma, when we follow certain, and through satsang, we come across this message. Oh, Krishna is the supreme hero. Krishna alone is the supreme hero, and Radha is the only heroine. And then our role is in accordance to our eternal Swarup as a servant. Jivira Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. And Mahaprabhu says that on that, in accordance to Swarup, if we can get the fortune, if we can become exposed to the unique fortune of becoming a maid servant of Srimati Radharani, Radhika Rani, that is the highest fortune in accordance to our eternal Swarup. So that is made possible through Sankirtana. So the next effect of chanting the holy name is that it extinguishes the fire of material existence, as we discussed, Many similarities, We are entangled by our own karma, and nobody externally can help us out unless this flow of Sankirtan comes. No material adjustments or advice can help us out of this material entanglement, like a forest fire, wild forest fire. Only the tremendous pouring of the water can extinguish it. In the same way, the Sankirtan participation or anybody is becoming connected to the Sankirtan brings that effect. The fire of material existence is compared to the forest fire of repeated birth and death. We are forced to come into creation and again die. The mundane wave catches the souls, which mingles with that vibration in different stages. That tremendous, horrible entanglement, our trap, we come out of that trap. That is stopped by the second effect of Krishna Sankirtan, and they become liberated. The first is our covering is shaken off, and then we are pulled out. Cheto darpanam ajnam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. Right? So with the first stride, Cheto darpanam ajnam, the intelligence is purified. With the second stride, what happens? The holy name effects liberation from the great fire, conflagration of threefold miseries. The threefold miseries, as we all know, adhyatmic miseries within our own body and mind, such as disease and mental anxiety, adibhautika. Adibhautika means miseries from our neighbors, other creatures, mosquitoes and beasts, insects, etc., and so many other living entities. And Adhidaivika miseries, natural catastrophes, like famine, flood, earthquake, etc. We have to suffer from these three kinds of miseries which burn in our heart, which burn in our burning in fire, correct? And where the fire burns, in our heart. So should we call heart like fire light, correct? Honest. And but heart burns. So it is the three miseries, Adhivika, Adhibhutik. They are compared to the fire which burns in our heart. By the second stride of Nam stage, Shreya Kairava Chandrika, Vitarnam, the Vidyavadhu Jivanam. It ignites the great fortune. So what is the great fortune? Great fortune is the desire to serve Krishna. It ignites our desire in accordance to our Swarupa, Jiver Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. So the Sankirtan process is compared to the moon rays when they are falling on the Kamalini, in the white lily, then it blossoms. So our So the white lily of our heart, of our fortune. Shreya means ultimate fortune. Shreya kairava chandrika vitarnam vidyavadhu. So the white lily of our great fortune becomes manifest by the Sankirtan, which is compared to the rays of the moon. Shreya kairava chandrika vitarnam vidyavadhu jivanam. The ultimate vidya is the pure devotional service. Vidyavadhu jivanam. Basically, only one thing, Krishna's potency, is just two aspects. One is Swarup Shakti or Yoga Maya, which connects us to Krishna. Another is Mahamaya, which separates us, makes us forgetful of Krishna. So this Sankirtan connects us to the Mahamaya, Paravidya, Vidya and Avidya. Avidya means bondage to this material world. And Vidya means connection to the Yogamaya. So this Sankirtan connects us. So Sankirtan is compared to the Vidya, real Vidya. And that Vidya is compared to a Vadhu. Vadhu means newlywed wife, who is very well-natured and very calm, composed, unconflicting, soft-speaking, you know, like that, but always concealing the real thing from the rest of, reveals in secret only to the husband. So in the same way, when Sankirtan, this effect happens in our life. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. The Sankirtan, without the flow of Sankirtan, this Vidya Vadhu, this Krishna consciousness cannot survive, just as so these are the means of Krishna consciousness. The Sankirtan is also the end. So in the remaining three aspects, we will discuss that how the Sankirtan is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Sankirtan itself is the means. If we means what benefit we get? Cheto Darpana Marjanam, one, cleansing the heart is the first. The means, it is Sankirtan. Bhav Mahadavagni, it liberates us from the worldly entanglement. The second benefit, Shreya Kairava, it Chandrika Vitarnam, it exposes the ultimate good for the living entity. And Vidyavadhu Jivanam, it acts as the life source for the pure devotional service. Pure devotional service, the ultimate Vidya, is compared to a Vadhu, newlywed wife. So the pure devotional service in our life makes us feel like a newlywed wife, very well cultured, soft speaking. And Sankirtan is the lifeline for her. So in the same way, Sankirtan for us, if you want to remain fully engaged in pure devotional service, this Sankirtan becomes our lifeline. Now the remaining three aspects, they are also the means. So the what comes, Upaya and Upaya. So the four things we discuss, Sri Krishna Sankirtan is the means, Upaya. And now the three remaining aspects is Upaya. Upaya means the end. So what we get if we participate in Sankirtan, not only four things which become the means to free us from, and what we get when these four things happen. Then fifth is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. So the fifth is Anandam buddhi vardhanam. It increases the ocean of bliss. Complete. When the gross and subtle bodies of the living entity have been completely destroyed, this is what happens. Anandam buddhi vardhanam. Who's Anand? The Anand of the soul. We, the real person. And so the Sankirtan, what happens when the gross and subtle bodies of the living entities have been completely destroyed? His infinitesimal nature becomes evident. How utterly small, insignificant we are when realized when the identification with this gross and subtle body is removed. So at that time, on account of the living entity's inherent nature being infinitesimal, smallest, it may be assumed that his constitutional happiness is also infinitesimal, one may ask. In order to dispel this apprehension, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informs us that the holy name is an ever-increasing ocean of bliss. What a wonderful paradox. More insignificant, utterly incapacitated we realize we are, greater and greater joy of Sankirtan we experience. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to say. He informs us that the holy name is an ever-increasing ocean of bliss. Anandam buddhi vardhanam. In other words, Sri Krishna Sankirtan performed in the liberated condition. Liberated condition means after having become free from the identification with this gross body and the subtle body. So upon the living entity's attainment of his pure spiritual form, unlimitedly expands the inherent transcendental pleasure of the living entity by virtue of the Hladini Shakti. So this is how this participation Sankirtan puts us under the shelter of internal potency of the Hladini Shakti. Under its influence, under its shelter, one experiences like increase of the ocean of the bliss in one's life. Oh, so that is the thing. So when we come to the proper level, actually, it is how we participate, how our consciousness becomes purified more and more and more. So when we come to the proper level, while chanting the holy name of Krishna, we find the transcendental ocean that is above all sorts of experience. Begin with the name, correct? The name comes to assert himself over us according to the degree of our surrender. And when our surrender is complete, we feel a new type of ecstatic joy. The more we surrender, losing the hold of other shelters on us, we feel greater and greater joy of experiencing the holy name as the exclusive shelter. Ecstasy increases in accordance to the level of our surrender and taking shelter of the holy name. We experience an infinite ocean of joy which is not static but ever ecstatic, ever dynamic. There we find new life and a new type of blissfulness. It never becomes static. It never becomes static or stale, ever fresh. But at every moment it gives us a taste of the infinite ocean of ecstasy. Pratipadam purnamita swadanam. Pratipadam, this Krishna Sankirtanam, every stage, Pratipadam in every word. As we know that basically so much variegatedness of Krishna's madhurya. Purnamrita swadanam. Amrita means nectar. So experiencing the nectar of Krishna's name enables one to taste complete nectar at every step. So in that condition, the living entity being eternally situated in one of the mellows. So what happens? Relishes complete nectar at every step by the virtue of the ever-increasing freshness of his attachment to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is sweetness of his form, Rupa Madhuri, Lila Madhuri, sweetness of his pastimes of different kinds. The sweetness of Krishna's flute, no? And Krishna's love. So all this sweetness of Krishna. Hare Krishna. So all this sweetness of Krishna becomes more and more experience, and the devotee's heart becomes enchanted by his extraordinary beauty. He becomes astonished, or Krishna's extraordinary beauty astonishes everybody. What to speak about human being, as we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, especially Venu Gita. Gopis glorifying and expressing their appreciation of the effect of Krishna's flute and Krishna's form, all this Krishna's sweetness on the moving and non-moving entities even, you know. So these four unique qualities of Krishna are eternally fresh, although the living entities who have awakened their love for Krishna continuously drink these aspects of Krishna's sweetness, they remain unsatiated and hanker for more. This is what every step means. Not that we have experienced Krishna's sweetness enough. No. More we realize Krishna's sweetness, the more the hankering increases. There's a saying in Bengali that this paradoxical effect in the material world, what we experience, Shuddha or Khyara Vastu, Ubhay Jeman. In the material world, the hunger, Shuddha means hunger, and Khadya Vastu means food. Shuddha or Khadya Vastu, Ubhay Jeman. Both of them, just like Ubhay hoy vinashe karan. What is the relationship between hunger and food? Anybody knows? When hunger and food meet each other, what happens? Ubhayer hoy vinashe karan. They destroy each other. That is their relationships. But Prem Rajyar e riti ati vilakshan. But in the spiritual realm, in the transcendental experience, what happens? Although the living entities who have awakened their love for Sri Krishna continuously drink these aspects of Krishna's sweetness, you know. If you drink more and more, then your thirst will be quenched, correct? You will no more thirsty. But the paradoxical effect is they remain unsatiated and hanker for more. As the gopis, especially when they see Krishna's beauty. Krishna's beauty is to be drunk, correct? To be relished. So their thirst increases. And when Krishna sees gopis' love, when Krishna notices gopis' loving glance or loving demeanor toward them, Krishna's beauty enhances. And that increased Krishna's beauty makes gopis hanker for it more. So this is the paradoxical effect. So that is what the effect of Sankirtan. Anandamudivana pratipadam purnamita asvatmam. Then sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Complete self-purification. This last effect, that our entire existence is purified. This kind of purification out of enjoyment, correct? We relish. So this kind of enjoyment, or our diving deep in relishing the Sankirtan, or in involving or becoming fully consumed in the flow of Sankirtan, it does not pollute us. Like sometime, what is our experience in this material world? Our endeavor to enjoy the material senses, sense objects, it's like polluting, rather than we enjoying the sense objects, we become enjoyed by them, isn't it? Imagine, like a drunkard person, he thinks he can enjoy the wine or liquor. Does he enjoy the liquor, or the liquor consumes him? Does he consume the liquor, or the liquor consumes him? So that is the thing. So this kind of enjoyment does not pollute, rather it purifies. Enjoyment means exploitation. Yeah, this is the nature of this material world. Mundane enjoyment creates a reaction and pollution. It attacks the enjoyer in the material world. We know this, correct? But here, because Krishna is the aggressor, one gets to deal with Krishna. And dealing with Krishna, connecting to Krishna, and appreciating Krishna's coming in our life, making Krishna the aggressor. So Krishna is the aggressor. The result is purification. All enjoyment that comes from the center, from the autocratic desire and demeanor of Krishna, purifies us completely. So these are the appreciation of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So Mahaprabhu, in this verse, the word Sarvatmasnapanam means that all different phases of the self, our self, includes three things, correct? The gross material body visible, the subtle thinking, antakaran, subtle body, and the soul proper. So this Sarvatmasnapanam means that all different phases of the self which may be conceived are fully satisfied and purified at once by chanting the holy name of Krishna. And there is another meaning of Sarvatmasnapanam. What is that? If we praise Krishna congregationally, we will be purified according to our capacity. Both the singer and the audience, as well as anyone who comes in connection with the transcendental sound, will be purified. Snapanam. Snapanam means purifying. Sarvatma, our whole existence. So who we consider our whole existence? Just our mere this body, or our family or society, community like this? How magnanimous is our thought? Who, to what extent we think is ours? So if you think the whole world is Krishna's family, and we will have that magnanimous attitude to benefit the whole world. That liberal we can become. So that vibration purifies everyone and everything that comes in touch of it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Go on with Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Of course, Sankirtan must be genuine. Genuine means it depends on the association. If you associate with the genuine devotees, not with ulterior motive, but only motive to fulfill the desire of the Supreme Lord, to fulfill the manobhishta of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu says, go on with the Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. So association with saintly people, pure devotees is necessary, because that association will keep us on the right track. Otherwise, mere Sankirtan apparent, it may not take it very far. We may just barely can survive or protect ourselves just out of sufficient faith, but that limited sight of the glory of Sankirtan, that, oh, well, let me just save myself. No, Sankirtan is to benefit others also. It cannot be kept just limited to oneself. So Sankirtan is not like we make some, in education, empirical attempt. Let us see. We are attempting to have a connection because Sankirtan is not some experiment on the material platform here. It connects us to the divine realm, connection with the higher reality. And that is what is most important, because if Sankirtan, that's why apparent Sankirtan and real Sankirtan will definitely connect us to the higher realm. We cannot afford to underperform the Sankirtan. Just keep us just on this mundane platform, because that is the most important thing, to find our connection with the higher reality. The holy name of Krishna is not a mere physical sound. It is not just lip deep only, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But it is a greater and higher aspect. But in the present, we are in the marginal plane of existence. So some higher connection is necessary in order that the wave will descend from that higher realm and come to us and spread its influence outside as well. So the whole purpose is that the effect of Sankirtan is much, much greater than what we have so far appreciated. So let the full effect of Sankirtan, Sarvatma, complete self-purification, which is possible potentially, we must not settle for anything less. So wherever it goes, the Sankirtan of the holy name of Krishna will produce these 7 results. So that is the full effect. This is the purport of Mahaprabhu's first sloka, first verse. The first effect is that, just to recoup, and we will conclude today's. Time is just there. So the first effect is that the holy name cleanses the soul, which is attacked by the dirt of desires from the mundane world. By the second effect, it gives liberation, perfect independence from material forces. The third effect brings real fortune, the opening of the soul's treasure. What is soul's treasure? The hankering for Krishna service. The innate resources of the soul are gradually awakened by the holy name of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here includes the other forms of relationship with the Supreme Absolute Truth. In describing the next step, he takes the mood of conjugal devotion, where one is absolutely disposed of disposed for Krishna's enjoyment unconditionally, surrendering everything for his maximum pleasure. You know, so that is the thing. Anyway, so Krishna's holy name and all these things, Srimad Bhagavatam also concludes with that Nama Sankirtanam. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamnas Tam Namami Harim Param. And how this Sankirtanam, even in at the highest level, where Krishna's name becomes so magnified, its beauty, its effect, not only as one speaks, takes the name of Krishna in the tongue, as one hears, and it becomes so all inundating the whole existence. When the effect of Krishna's name, chanting enters the heart, then it just stuns all the functions of the other limbs. So that is the potential. And Srimad Bhagavatam also concludes, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanastam Namami Harim Param. If we just express our taking the notion of taking shelter of Krishna's holy name, and then we can become free from all the miseries. Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas. Sarva Papa Pranashanam. It liberates us from all the sinful tendencies and situates us in the eternal shelter which frees us from all the anxieties due to the fallible nature of all other shelters. So if we take shelter of the Krishna's holy name, then it gives us that effect. So I think, of course, the glories of Sankirtan is never, we cannot reach, we can barely discuss much, but still within the time we have discussed something, and we can stop here and invite some any reflections, any addition, questions, please come forward. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Guru. Hare Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Amazing, Adbhut Satsang Shri Guru. So, if anybody have any questions, please kindly unmute and or if you want to speak something.
Hare Krishna Shri Guru, Dandavat Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Transcendental Satsang Shri Guru, so much encouraging, enlivening, enlightening and awakening us to attain our utmost potential and truly understand the message of Mahaprabhu. And lots of things, especially Shri Guru, that trailer example, very, very sweet Shri Guru, very lively, very clean, clear, and very, very amazing, Shiguru. Very sweet. Very, very sweet. The trailer example, Shiguru. And it brings out the message of the Shastra, Shiguru. You bring it live all together. Shiguru, one question like this in Swarup, Krishna is the only Nayak, Radharani is the only Nayika. How do I come out of this mentality that I would like Shri Guru to become a Sevika, but how do I make? How does it?
Because you are a Sevika. That is the realization. That is self-realization. It comes after God realization. When we appreciate fully that Krishna is only Nayak and Radha is only Nayika, that is God realization. You have to go further. In Krishna consciousness, many times sadhaka thinks, well, we know who God is now, correct? That is all in all, correct? There is not all in all. Our participation is still missing. How much we appreciate that Krishna is the only Nayaka. Radha is the only Nayika. And their mutual Anyone vilase prem rasaswang, and then mutually enjoying each other, relishing the sweetest mellow is the complete truth. Everything else is only to cater to that absolute truth. If in consciousness, if this such appreciation is not appreciated, then we are left out. So there is only two options. Either we remain left out as we have somehow settled since eternity, remaining left out, or we want to join in our eternal Swarup. That's why God realization is for a dharmic person, a person who is God-fearing. God realization is not so difficult. Self-realization is the ultimate stage. Self-realization means what is there for me. If Krishna is, if I owe my existence to Krishna, I'm Krishna's, I am from Krishna. Where do I want to settle? Independent of Krishna or fully involved with Krishna to cater to his need. Correct? So it is the question is not how I realize that I am not Naika or Nayaka. The more and more as we increase in our appreciation of Krishna's status, and also how much opportunity, how much favor, how much merciful he has been since eternity, just to make it possible for us to experience eternal joy in accordance to our Swarupa. Krishna is experiencing eternal, ever-increasing joy, Anandam Buddhi Varanam, Anandam, in accordance to his Swarupa, correct? So actually we are being helped out to realize and experience ever-increasing joy in accordance to our Swarup. That is our capacity. Because that our Swarup is covered up, and that's why we want to become independent enjoyers. That is the disease. We don't exist independently. We gain our identity in relation to someone. We don't exist in isolation. We don't exist on our own. We exist due to someone. So that much appreciation should be there. Then we will not want to remain independent enjoyers. Rather, we will become loyal servitors. And if we appreciate that thing, then our whole vision will become transcendental. We won't be able to see anything as the object of our enjoyment. We'll see everything as an object of object meant for Krishna's enjoyment. This is a very simple, very clear partner. But they just saying, contemplate our position just like that. They just saying, We used to hear that. It's so easy to be happy. No, it is so simple to be happy. Can you write this down? It is so simple to be happy, but so difficult to be simple. You get the point. It's a it's an enlightenment. It is the awakening, spiritual awakening that alone will take us out of this confusion, out of this dilemma, and think, how can I realize that I'm only Sevika or Sevaka? To the extent we realize how Krishna is, Krishna alone is the hero or Nayaka. Radharani alone is the Nayika, heroine. Then we won't want to imitate them or try to be like them. Rather, we will want to become theirs. It's like Queen. Queen has such a unique status. Now, a maid servant thinks, so one day I can also become queen. Can she? If she thinks that she can also become queen, then she doesn't understand what it is like to be queen. Only queen is queen, correct? It is not by some endeavor that someone becomes queen. Queen is already queen. She's already become choice of the king. So if somebody has already taken the position of a queen, then why should anyone else hanker to be a queen or hanker to be a king? But in the material world, we see that even the concept of king and queen, they are limited, But we have no idea how superlative a hero and heroine Radha and Krishna are. If we develop sufficient appreciation for their hero-ness and heroineness, we'll altogether lose any fascination or any remote aspiration to be a hero or heroine like them. Because the greater joy is watching the supreme heroine play rather than acting to be heroine at our tiny level. Which one would you like to would you watch the sport of heroine played at the highest level, or one would want to remain entangled, at one's tiny level, teeny level? So that's why we always give the example of the sports. In the sports, the greater joy is for the spectators rather than playing themselves, because they appreciate the superlative nature of the game being played by the real hero or heroine of sport. As simple as, and if we continue our contemplation like that, then we can definitely become free completely from that. So then our vision, as I said, that everything, every person you see, one will be able to see in that light. And it is so tremendously pulling us out from material identification in the material relations. Immediately, everything becomes transcendental, appears, How many innumerable times we have lived these temporary relations of fascination, where we project ourselves as the enjoyer and others as the object of our enjoyment. This deep-rooted, it's only conditioning, so it can be deconditioned. So if he develops sufficient level of appreciation of Krishna in Radharani's position, then we will lose the fascination to remain at our condition. We will become theirs. So to what extent we consider that we are theirs, that will determine how much we have come out of the trip. All right?
Ji Shiva. I pray and beg for your mercy, Shiva.
सर्वभूतेषु यह पश्चेत भगवत भावम आत्मन सर्वभूतेषु यह पश्चेत भगवत भावम आत्मन भूतानि भगवती आत्मनि एषे भागवतोत्तमा. Who is stopping us to become Uttama Bhagavat? We all have the potential to be Uttama Bhagavat. So what kind of aspiration, what kind of hankering we want to develop in our heart, you know? And, similar projection we will find, projection of our heart, or the projected outside. So if our heart is hankering to become a maid servant of Srimati Radharani, then we see that just because everybody is sadhaka, why should an awakened soul see anyone is less than that potentially? You know? How can we hate anybody or undermine anybody or try to rule over or overpower or lord over others, because everybody has the same potential. No? If you have realized that you have the potential to be a choicest kinkari of Srimati Radharani, how can you mistreat anyone? Because what is the impression which you are feeling in your heart, in your inner conscience, you will find reflected in everybody. Yes, they are all. So Bhagavad Bhavam Atman hai. Atmana means your own, within your soul. Bhagavad Bhavam means what kind of sentiment or relation you feel with the divine couple. Sarva Bhuteshu, in all, you will see manifest with your inner eye. Your vision, although the things apparently remain the same, but your analysis of everything and everyone who comes in your vision will change. The world remains the same. It's our vision changes, our attitude changes. That's all. That is called the evolution of the consciousness, isn't it? It is not evolution of anything. Everything is evolving on its own except our consciousness. Everything else is evolving or not. And we are left behind. Consciousness also has to. So the world is teaching us a great lesson. It is changing to its own evolution, changing to ultimate destruction, correct? Creation, destruction again. And we get long opportunities, multiple opportunities to cause the ultimate absolute evolution of our consciousness. The opportunity is equal opportunity for you also. So why should you feel, how can I do? You can definitely do. All right?
Only by your mercy, Shiva. Only and only by your mercy.
It can happen to anybody and everybody. And especially everybody who is listening to this. Everybody included. Nobody barred. Okay, one more hand was raised.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Shri, please accept my respectful obeisances at your lotus feet.
Hare Krishna, welcome.
Maharaj Shri, my
Swami.
question, thank you. Maharaj Shri, my question is regarding Sadguru. I wanted to ask whether is our Diksha Guru necessarily our Sadguru, or can our Shiksha Guru also be our Sadguru?
Yeah, Diksha Guru is also mostly primarily our Siksha Guru also, correct? So we don't take Diksha from more than one. We may have taken, or we may have to take Siksha from many. If the Siksha from our Diksha Guru is not complete, so heart will remain unfulfilled. So that's why there is always arrangement of Siksha all the way. Even with the personal presence of Diksha Guru or otherwise, Siksha Gurus are always available. So Sadguru is one whose Siksha awakens our Swarupa. And that will cause our attachment to such a person. Because otherwise, Diksha means initiation. So just initiating or beginning something doesn't mean that we have reached the end. Nah? We have just begun. The process has to be followed yet. So until we are awakened in our Swarupa, we have to continue the Siksha and following the process. And to be able to gain sufficient appreciation for the status of the spiritual master, whether Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru, when we develop that much appraisal, the status of Guru, that we become his or hers. Lord Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavatam, one who ignites our Swarupa Gyan, that I am the eternal servant of Krishna. In some capacity, ultimately as a maid servant of Srimati Radharani, that is the highest exposition of the potential of the human soul, as Mahaprabhu has expressed. Because the concept of Sri Guru Charane Rati, Aise Uttama Gati. Rati means deep attachment. Is possible when we remember or appreciate someone is the most blessed. Rati or attachment means something has to be perceived as most blessed, isn't it? It is not by force. It is naturally the heart will be drawn to such a person. But one thing is for sure, Shiksha Guru is never averse to Diksha Guru. Ultimately, Diksha Guru who connects us to the parampara is very, very essential indeed. And that's why in Gaudiya tradition, or any tradition, Diksha means mantra Diksha. Harinam Diksha is wonderful. It just brings us the fold of devotional atmosphere and devotional practices. In Vaman Kalpa, there's a sloka, Yo mantra se guru sakhyat, yo guru se hari swayam, guru yashya bhavet tushtas, tasya tushto hari swayam. Because the concept of Guru Tattva is very, very confidential. It is all encompassing. If one Tattva is properly appreciated, then all other tattvas will be revealed, because it covers everything. Sri Guru Tattva covers everything. Sri Guru Tattva includes Sri Krishna Tattva, Sri Radha Tattva, Sri Bhakti Tattva, everything. Sri Guru is a principle. Sri Guru is nothing but the Kripa Shakti of Krishna. It's the Shakti Tattva. Na? That Shakti, that potency of Krishna, which has the potential, or coming in touch with it, our full-fledged Krishna consciousness becomes manifest. But it has to be perceived in the heart. So Rati is possible when someone is perceived as the most blessed. And that is possible with the person we come in direct protection. Because Rati is not possible in the paroksha. We study Krishna's unlimited pastime, we chant Krishna's name in different sadhanas. And how many times we have become sadhaka since eternity? Innumerable time. So somehow the secret of success, the rahasya, bhajan rahasya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written this. No? The shortest and the surest way to absolute success is possible in spite of, other than our participating in many devotional aspects of studying, chanting, doing parikrama, doing this and that, everything. Ultimately, how far we have experienced God, Krishna, directly. So, direct experience of God or Krishna or Radharani is made possible through Sri Guru. So when we perceive someone's so much blessedness that we become attached, we develop. This is what we have been looking for since eternity. So that person gives us the fulfillment. That person appears to be non-different from Krishna in importance, in worship, and in also love. As Srimad Bhagavatam and Upanishads say, Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru. Tasyaite kathita yata prakashante mahatmana. Where the scriptures say that honor the spiritual master on the same level as Krishna. On the equal level of Krishna, only in two aspects, in pujyata, in worship and also in love. Because Krishna in his Swayam Roop is not available for our worship or love. But Krishna manifests when we show our inclination, tendency to meet Krishna, our devotional fervor. Then Krishna comes in our life as the spiritual master. But it depends on individual perception in one's heart. A different person could be that person. The Sri Guru is manifest in different persons, different for the different individuals also. It's not limited to just one person, but it has to be subjective realization. That's why the concept of most blessed, the example of father, we may see many people as father of different children, but our father, my father stands out for me, because of that special loving bond and the direct experience I had with him. So the rati is possible towards the person who is directly perceived. So that's why the spiritual master becomes no less worshipable, no less lovable than Krishna. And then it can be the Diksha Guru. With Diksha Guru, if such enlightenment is not made possible, with the help of other enlightened Shiksha Gurus, but the gratitude we will show towards our Diksha Guru, Mantra Diksha especially. The Guru means Mantra Diksha. Yo mantra se Guru Sakshat. The mantra which is meant to ignite our Swarup is the eternal servant of Krishna. Yo mantra se Guru Sakshat, yo Guru se Hari Swayam. So Guru is not ordinary. Krishna has come in our life as such a person as Guru. But do we experience his glory to that extent? So until a sadhaka reaches that much appreciation, that much appraisal of the status of the spiritual master, one won't be able to see him as Sadguru. You know, Sadguru is not just by theory. It is the experiencing that exclusive or most blessed status of someone in our appreciation. All right?
Thank you, Maharaj Shri, for such a kind explanation. Thank you so much.
Just contemplate. I think Krishna and his agents, they are always there to help us. We should always feel very grateful. We blessings which we have received, everybody has done their part in our life, and they all wish for all of us that we become pure devotees. And when our consciousness reaches the platform of pure devotional service, our pure vision, pure contemplation, then everything becomes settled. Then no confusion remains, no duality remains. We see everyone as fully united. You know. And, so that fortune is made available for all of us, and equal opportunities for all of us. Unlimited. The transcendental treasure is unlimited. The spiritual treasure is unlimited. Unlike in the material world, when the treasure or the positions or opportunity is limited, and everybody running after it, then there's a rasakasi, khichatani, competition and deprivation, all this cheating. But on the spiritual journey, there is no space for, because everything is unlimited. No? If you get it before me, it's not that I will be deprived now. Rather, I should feel encouraged that yes, you did it, I can also do it. So there is no place for any envy or undermining or depriving anyone. If we appreciate our potential is definitely becoming a maid servant of Srimati Radharani, that much confidence if we have, how can you hate anybody? How can you undermine anybody? Because everybody, your fellow associates, fellow God brothers, God sisters, they also have the same potential. So sadhu vision is not what the person was perceived in the past. We have impression of our past experience with some people dealing, or what even the sadhaka or the person we meet is, we consider what he is right now. Still, his vision should be open to think that potentially he or she also potentially be fortunate as becoming a choicest maid servant of Srimati Radharani. This treasure is unlimited, and it is fully available for all of us, everyone. We should only move forward. We won't be left out. We should be very assured. All right then. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj Shri.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru. Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Sri Swami.
If anybody else would like to speak anything, ask
Hare
anything.
Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for such a beautiful session, Maharaj.
Hare. We are just repeating what we have been given. Yes. Would you like to say something?
No, Maharaj. Just wanted to express my gratitude. Dandavat Pranam, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. You are very kind. Hare Krishna. Okay, Kirtaniya Sada.
Thank you for beautiful session, Shri Guru. Listening to you, we feel we have not been bereft of anything. Thank you so much, Shri Guru. We will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times with love to glorify and honor our dear Shri Guru. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We'll speak from our heart. Param Pujya Bhakti Swarup Govind Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai, Jai,
Jai.
Jai.
Avet Nitai Gaur Bhakta Vindaki.
Jai Jai Gurudev, Jai Ho, Jai Jai Gurudev, Goval Hare.
Pranam Shri Guru, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna. Sri Swami.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Gurudev.
Hare Krishna. You are in Vrindavan, so why should you worry now? You are the closest to the goal. Correct? Nearest. Nearer you go, farther you feel. That's why hanker you more. So it's a trap, no? Trap is such, one cannot afford to go far also. The nearer one goes, farther one feels and hankers more for more. So it's a, if you feel you are in the trap, then it's a safe trap. You know, nobody wants to be trapped. But in some trap we are, correct? We cannot live in isolation. Can we remain untrapped completely independently? No. We have to be in some trap. So it's like to be in a trap of greater and greater hankering is good. Safe trap. Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hare Hare.
Pranam Shri Guru.
See you in the Swamini Matiyas.
Pranam.
See you all in 50.